Bitcoin has just made history with the highest monthly candle close it has ever seen. In today's video, we're going to be going over the short-term and the macro charts in extensive detail, discussing the implications of this monthly candle close, what is happening on the price charts, and the key levels you need to be paying attention to. Let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I hope you all had a great Easter. In today's video, we are going to be discussing Bitcoin from a macro and a short-term perspective, going over the key levels you need to be paying attention to, exactly what is happening on the price charts right now, what we expect to occur next, and what impact the upcoming monthly candle close could have on the future price action for Bitcoin. Before we do get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you were interested in, join us over on Telegram. It is the third link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. If you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, join us over on VIP. We have a trading channel where we post trading setups with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to our group chats, our general chat, trading chart and education, trade setup, daily video, help, and news chat. If you're interested in joining all of that, contact us in the pinned comment of the free channel. We do have a sale on for the next 12 hours, so go ahead and check it out. Let's dive into the video, guys, starting on that market data. 24-hour volume up 6.27%, sitting at $111 billion. 24-hour liquidations up 4%, sitting at $104 million. Of the 24-hour liquidations, we can see 28 million have come from long positions and 76 million have come from short positions. Taking a very preliminary look at the price action, we can see Bitcoin has developed an ascending triangle formation. This is a bullish pattern, which is represented by a uptrend. We have higher lows, we have a low over here, we have a higher low, and we have a higher low, and we have a neutral, okay, or a horizontal or an equal neckline of resistance. So an uptrend into a flat resistance. This, of course, is a bullish structure, and we'll be discussing more in today's video what we expect from this pattern when we get into our short-term analysis. But with the last 24 hours, we can see the price has swung back up from these low levels to retest that 71k resistance, again liquidating primarily our, or should I say, the short positions in the market. Moving over to the broader markets, the DXY is still neutral, sitting around where it was in our prior video. We can see again we are sitting above this uptrending support level. Provided we remain above this level, we are expecting a continuation into a next level of resistance. The resistance is going to be this area between the 104.9 to 104.86 area. We could see a continuation upwards to retest this range before a correction back toward the downside. Of course, if we break through this neckline, the DXY will become bullish once more. On the downside, if we do drop below this uptrend, we are expecting a retracement back down to retest these yearly low points for the DXY. Moving over to the broader markets, the S&P 500 is looking very strong, sitting at $5,331. Again, we are expecting macro continuations upwards, provided we remain above 5,000. Any correction that develops for the S&P 500, whether it be a short-term correction, a larger correction, provided the price is able to remain above 5,000, we are looking for macro continuation upwards. So if you do see a pullback, consider it healthy, provided 5,000 is able to hold. If we do drop below 5,000, that is when we would see a higher time frame correction to retest the prior all-time high. As per, we are in price discovery, and thus targets are whole numbers, 5,400 being the next. Moving over to the Dow Jones, exactly the same thing happening over here, guys. The only difference is instead of that 5,000 range, we're looking at 38,000. as our key high time frame support, meaning any correction that develops from here we'll expect to be a healthy correction provided 38k holds. If we lose 38k, we'll fill that VRPV gap, resulting in a retracement back to retest that prior all-time high. Until then, expecting continuations to numbers of psychological importance, 40,500, 41,000 on the short term. Let's go ahead, guys, and jump over to Bitcoin. So a quick little intro in regards to what we're going to be talking about, the short-term price action in extensive detail in regards to what is happening immediately with the price action. We're zooming out to a slightly higher time frame, discussing the next leg for Bitcoin, where we could go, our key trigger points, our key areas of support, and our targets. And then we'll be discussing the most important segment of today's video, which is the upcoming monthly candle close in 10 minutes. So I'll time the video so by the time we get up to that, we should actually see the close occur. So we discuss with you guys in real time what that means, what the result was, and how we are moving forward from that point. So without further ado, a quick word from Bitget and BingX, and we'll jump into Bitcoin. I wanted to briefly interrupt today's video to discuss the two exchanges we use on this channel, Bitget and BingX. So which exchange should you sign up to? If you look to the right hand side of the screen, you're going to see the list of differences in relation to KYC requirements and the countries these exchanges offer services to. The first link down below being the Bitget link, and the second link down below being the BingX link. No matter which link you sign up to, you're going to get up to 15% discounts on your trading fees, up to $5,000 in trading rewards, and of course, you'll get access to every single MegaWhale exclusive bonus campaign we run on these exchanges. Alongside that, Bitget and BingX are incredibly similar. They are both ranked top 10 in terms of trading volume. They both have extensive liquidity pools and market pairs offering up to 125x leverage. And most importantly, they both offer protection funds for their users to protect you against any third-party hacks. So get started now and support the channel by clicking the links below. Thanks for listening. Okay team, let's go on and get into the price action. So starting on that short-term price action, guys, I want to go ahead and discuss the key higher time frame levels we are paying attention to, and then break it down into that hourly chart, into that ascending triangle formation, and really discuss what we expect to occur next. So primarily, the most important levels we are watching right now is going to be, number one, that main high time frame uptrending diagonal support level. Now this uptrending diagonal support level, again, we've discussed many times on this channel now, as is a primary level of support in regards to the overall trajectory Bitcoin has been moving in since the start of Feb 2024. So we're coming on nearly 2 months. This is now a 2-month long uptrend. We can see we've had 1, 2, and 3 retests of this trend, establishing this as a valid trend line and a key level of importance. Now, if we remain above this trend line, we are expecting the overall trajectory of price action to continue upwards. So what does that mean? That means any correction that develops on the short time frame that results in the price action correcting to this level but not below this level would be considered a healthy short-term correction. It is only if we drop and close below this level, this uptrend, would we then open the possibility for a downtrend to develop on the shorter time frame, which could take us down to our 60k level of support. And the 60k level of support is the next area of significance. The 60k area of support is the most important high time frame level of support for Bitcoin in regards to the current structural formations and where Bitcoin is sitting on the chart. If we look at the 60k support, we can see that there is a massive VRPV gap from that 60k level all the way down to around that 52k region. If we cross-check that with the higher time frame chart, we can see a massive gap in the price action again from that $60,000 support to that 52k region, indicating once more that this is an area of lower historical resistance, and thus if we do see a downward breakdown into this range with negative momentum, the volume requirements to continue through this range decrease, and therefore we see a significant increase in bearish volatility, and we'll likely see a flash correction if that occurs. So the most important levels we are watching are again this major uptrend, as the major uptrend will determine whether or not we see that continuation over time, or whether or not we see a correction back to 60k. And then if we do reach 60k, we are watching for rebounds, because if we do break below that level, we could see a stronger correction. However, guys, like we said, what happens on the shorter time frame determines where the price action goes on the higher time frame in terms of a chart perspective. Okay, yes, macro drivers determine where the price action moves on a macro trajectory, but talking purely, will the price action deviate down to this level, or will we continue upwards first? That is going to be determined by what happens on the price action chart. And again, the price action chart is simply a reflection of buyers and sellers, and buyers and sellers are a reflection of market sentiment and perceived systematic risk in the market. So it's all, again, relevant. So let's go ahead and discuss the key levels of structural support. Number one, we have got our key level of resistance. This is going to be the 74k region. This is the prior all-time high for Bitcoin. This is the 2024 all-time high region. Of course, if we break above that level, we are expecting continuations into new price discovery regions. How high can Bitcoin go? We'll discuss that later. Maybe we see 80,000. Maybe we see a little bit higher. Again, we'll get into that. Next level of support is going to be that $69,000 region. The 69k region is going to be that upper box over here, that upper rectangle we can see. This is a very, very key level. Again, we've retested this once and twice on the short term. If we zoom out to the higher time frame chart, the 69k region is actually the prior 2021 all-time high. Again, we can see the candle closing in 5 minutes above that on the weekly chart, indicating significant strength. But of course, we do want to maintain the price action above 69k on the short term as well, as that is a key level of support. Then moving down, we have got our weekly support at the 65.8k level. This is the weekly high of the 2021 all-time high. And we have that zone of support between these two levels as a neutral territory. So again, while we are sitting between 69k and 65.8, we are neutral. If we go below this level, we are short-term bearish. If we go below this level, we are higher time frame bearish. Above 69k, we are short-term bullish. And above 74k, we are higher time frame bullish. So if we're going to define how the trend is looking, if we're going to define the strength of the trend based on where the price action is sitting in regards to supports and resistances, that is the overall scope of which we are defining the strength of the price action. So let's now jump into the data and the technicals. If we take a look at our RSI, we can see the RSI again is a derivative of the price action itself, and this particular segment of the RSI over here equates to the price action since the break of the 60k region. What we can see, the RSI has been an overall downtrend ever since that breakout of 60k, indicating that momentum has been negative ever since this point. Momentum has been falling. What we can see in the recent weeks, we are starting to see momentum increase into an eventual apex between the downtrending diagonal resistance of our RSI and the uptrending diagonal support of the RSI trend line, meaning an eventual break of this uptrend will result in a positive momentum shift, facilitating a continuation upwards, as we do now have the strength required to break through that 74k resistance. We are getting very, very close to our level. So again, if we want to see a break of 74k, we need to see that RSI pivot and close on the 4-hour above that downtrend. Let's go jump into the short-term price action now and discuss what is happening and the next move for Bitcoin. So as you have been watching, as you have been paying attention on the channel, we have been telling you for the last few days and even the last few weeks, when the price action bounced all the way back at 60,000, we took long positions. We can show you these positions, guys. You know, I've got nothing to hide in these positions. Let's go ahead and bring up some of these long positions we took. If we go back to our VIP channel, we can show you. Look at these ones. So we took a long position on that breakout. If we go even further back, we can see, let's just take a minute just to go back a little bit. Let's go back over here, pending trades. Again, we took long positions all the way down at that 60K region for continuations to 74K. And we even got more. We took long positions down over here at the 62K region for continuations. This entire region over here, we were taking longs expecting continuations upwards. And the premise of those positions and how I still stand by is that support is support until it is not. And no matter how much exhaustion we see in the price action, if there is bullish absorption, we do see continuations. And that is exactly what we have been seeing recently, guys. In the recent price action structure, we've seen rejections from 71, retest, continuation, rejection from 71, retest. But with these retests, okay, with these retests, we are developing higher lows, okay? Higher lows. This indicates we have an established trend. With those retests, we are seeing lower lows on the price action chart, indicating we have bullish absorption occurring. This is strength. With that, we have seen a continuation, a development of this uptrend, and now we are seeing a retest of that neckline of resistance once again, guys. So again, when we see the RSI drop to lower lows, we see the price action not drop to lower lows, in fact, creating higher lows. This is an indication that the buyers are stepping in with more aggression and more strength and absorbing that selling pressure. So we are seeing this uptrend develop. We have seen that uptrend develop. Now we have an ascending triangle structure. If we take the measured move of the entrance to our first neckline resistance, apply that to the breakout point, we can see the measured move actually takes us over the 74K region to 75K. So if we're looking for a break of this range, I am looking for targets in the 72.5 region, which is the VRPV gap. I'm looking for targets in 73.2 to 73.8, and I'm looking for targets at 75 or very, very close to 75K. If we are able to break out of this level. And again, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4. This is our 5th point of retest. And as you know, we look at 5 points of retest per structure for confirmations of breaks. We are very likely to see a breakout on our 5th retest. So again, very bullish in the short term. Let's do it the bearish case scenario. Again, the bearish case scenario is very unlikely. We are expecting continuations upwards. It is more likely we do see a continuation upwards. However, if we want to see the bearish case scenario, we need to break down underneath this higher low. If we lose this higher low and the price action drops under, we will see short-term weakness. That will be an invalidation of this uptrend. And primarily, we would need to lose our first low, this initial low, to break down from that 69K support and enter a short-term downtrend back to our major uptrending support line. But again, like we said, even if we see that correction downwards, that will still be considered a healthy correction while this uptrend remains. So overall, looking fantastic. Now, that gives us the perfect timing to jump over to the monthly chart, as Bitcoin has just closed a monthly candle at a price, let's go ahead and discuss, at a price point of, let's zoom in, $71,281, the highest monthly candle ever closed for Bitcoin. In fact, the highest weekly candle ever closed for Bitcoin. And now, again, what happens in the short term expands to the higher time frame. So if we do want to see that continuation upward into new highs, into price discovery, we need to see what we discussed happen on the short term occur. We need to see these bullish validations occur. So we need to see the 4-hour break, okay? That is still a necessity. We still need to see momentum flip positive. We still need to see the price action break through our short-term resistance and continue through these levels to see that higher time frame continuation upwards. But now we're going to talk from a hypothetical standpoint. We're going to talk from, a historical data standpoint based on what we have seen before, right? If we move to the monthly chart, and this monthly chart unfortunately does take a day or so to actually catch up with the recent price action, so we can see it's sitting at 69K, so our data in regards to our RSI and where the price action is slightly off, but again, the Brave New Coin Liquid Index chart does take some time to calibrate. If we quickly take a look at the monthly chart on the standard Bitcoin chart and bring up that RSI, we can see that unfortunately, I believe the RSI has not yet broken over the 80 point, and we'll be discussing why this is significant and what this means in just a moment, but we have not yet broken above the 80 point. You can see we actually pivoted at around 76.5 on that monthly. Now, this isn't a big concern, but we'll discuss that in one moment. So let's go over to higher time frame chart. What we can notice is every single time we close a monthly candle above the prior all-time high, we officially enter the parabolic phase for cryptocurrency, for Bitcoin as a whole. Now, why and what does this mean? Well, let's take a look at the trend angle. According to the angle of the trend, and the angle of the trend is simply a reflection of strength of the trend over a set period of time. The angle of the trend from the breakout of the monthly chart of the prior all-time high to the next all-time high significantly steepens in comparison from the absolute bottom of the bear market to the point of that breakout. We can see a trend angle steepen from 39 degrees to 75 degrees, from 39 degrees to 52 degrees. So we can see a significant shift in the steepness of the trend upon that breakout, signifying a period of increased strength, increased volume, increased momentum, and overall increased demand for the asset over a period of time. This is what we will consider the parabolic phase of the bull market. Now, we have been in a bull market for a very long time, of course, but this will be that parabolic phase according to what we've seen in the past. So based on what we have seen in the past, if we look at date range trends and when we would expect the price action to top, we simply take a date range trend from the breakout point to the all-time high. We saw 8 months, a date range trend from the breakout point to the all-time high. We saw 12 months. On average, that gives us 8 to 12 months from the current month of March. Okay, we broke out in March. On the month of March, we broke out. So we take 8, okay, to 12, and that takes us anywhere from November 2024 to March 2025 for an all-time high for Bitcoin. So we're looking between November to March for an all-time high for Bitcoin, according to what we have seen in the past. Now, there is one thing I am a little bit concerned of if we look at prior historical patterns. If we look at how Bitcoin has performed historically in terms of breaking through the all-time high, we have generally seen upon the breakout of that prior all-time high, we have seen a cross of the 80 on the RSI. So let's go ahead and take a look at the RSI. When we break out of the all-time high, we generally see a cross of that 80 point. Now, there has been an exception. If we take a look at our 2020 cycle, the break of the 80 occurred 1 month after the breakout on the price structure chart. But nevertheless, it is really the breakout of the 80 that signifies a positive momentum shift on the macro scale. It signifies we've entered the overbought territory on the higher time frame in the monthly chart, which signifies mass strength on the higher time frame. So we do need to see that crossover on the 80 of the RSI to actually see that strong continuation upwards. The breakout on the monthly chart is just one piece of the two-piece puzzle. The second piece is still going to be that 80 breakout, and we have yet to see that on the monthly. Now, that may occur in this coming month. Of course, we do have the halving event upcoming, which is a very, very bullish event. So we could definitely see the RSI break over. And if we do, it is very likely we see that parabolic phase begin for Bitcoin. We see excessive growth on the cryptocurrency assets moving forward. Now, how high could Bitcoin go? That is a very, very tricky question to answer. And I've done videos on this in the past, but I actually want to go from a different perspective today. I want to say it doesn't matter how high Bitcoin goes, because your job as a trader is to not worry about the price of the asset, but is to worry about the percentage change since your entry to exit. And I've said this many, many times, and there's probably people watching this channel who are investors and you probably care about the price, but myself personally, I don't. I am a trader. I don't care about the price action. So if what I say doesn't resonate with you and you disagree, that's fine. You can. We have two different jobs. I'm a trader, you're an investor. I don't care. Now, I have a lot of long-term investments. I have a lot of Bitcoin. I have a lot of altcoins. I'm up massively on those positions, but primarily to my core, I'm a trader. I don't care about the price. I care about the percentage change since entry to exit. So what am I talking about? When I'm looking to sell my asset, I'm not looking to sell it at a specific price. I'm not targeting a specific price. I don't really care where Bitcoin goes. What I care about is that the strength, okay, and more importantly, the indicators and the drivers of price action. The drivers which have been moving the price action, the trajectory we have been seeing, are able to withhold. If I see significant shifts in perceived systematic risk as a result of economic narratives changing, and I see the risk climate for risk assets start to increase, that could be an early sign that we are starting to top out, and at that point I'll decide to start offloading positions every week, a percentage of my holdings every week or every month, moving into the top. Remember, I've said this before, if your goal is to sell the exact day of the top, you've given yourself a very, very steep task. And most likely you've given yourself such a steep task, on the day it happens, you'll be a deer in the headlights and you won't be able to react. And you're going to end up holding. It is better to sell moving into the top. So by the top is in, you're 30% out, you're 60% out by the top is in, instead of trying to sell after the top when things start correcting and emotions start picking up and it becomes very, very difficult to actually pull the trigger. Okay, so when I'm looking to sell, I'm watching for the same validations I watch for exits on the smaller time frame. I look for negative momentum shifts. I look for indications on the broader scale of macro weakness. I look for narratives which could potentially push the price down on the higher time frame, not hearsay narratives, not news articles, but factual data that change perceived systematic risk, which drives investors' decisions, which changes the risk climate of the market, which directly impacts the cost of debt and thus the risk asset market. So I look for very important stuff such as interest rates decisions, such as taxation policies, monetary policies, all these things we look at when we look at perceived systematic risk, elements of risk uncontrollable by the investor. I'm going to leave the video there, guys. Hope you have a fantastic day. We'll catch you guys in the next one on Wednesday. See you then.